We're live at the Metrodome in Minneapolis, the home of the Minnesota Vikings, where today they entertain the Los Angeles Rams. We're indoors, so weather not a factor. Good afternoon. I'm Pat Summerall here with John Madden. And you know, John, just a few weeks ago, these were two of the elite teams in the NFL. All of a sudden, the Rams now have lost 3 in a row. What do they have to do to get back on track?
Well, you know, I've known John Robinson all my life, Pat, and I know he has the same answer. When anything goes wrong, power football, run the ball. So he said that's what he's going to do today. He has Greg Bell healthy really for the first time in a month, and he said he's going to run on first down, second down, and third down. And I know that's nice, but I think that the Rams aren't going to get back there to be a real contender until they get their pass protection straightened out and Jim Everett straightened out, because he is in a slump. Part of the slump is he's getting too much pressure straight up the middle. And that's not going to end today, because the Vikings have the best defensive line in football. These guys lead the league in sacks. Look at him. Dolman has 7. Millard has 13 sacks. Keith Millard coming up the middle, and that's where Everett's going to get the pressure today. I think if there's anything he has to do is they have to seal that middle, whether it be run or pass.
You know, it's somewhat the same situation here in Minnesota, although they're more concerned about their passing attack. We'll see a new quarterback today.
Well, and I think they should be concerned about their passing attack. As Jerry Burns says, we have too many good players on this team to be last in the NFC in passing. Now, of course, they're going back to Wade Wilson today. Wade Wilson broke a knuckle about a month ago. He's been out. Tommy Kramer got him 4 wins. Wilson replaced him last week. He is going to start today. But whatever, they gave away too much for Herschel Walker not to use him. I think the thing the Vikings have to do is they have to get the ball to number 81, Anthony Carter, and to number 34, Herschel Walker.
And Herschel Walker is one of the 2 lined up deep to receive the kickoff. He's back there with DJ Dozier. They like for Walker to handle it, although Dozier had a good return last Monday night against the Giants. Lansford to kick it off for the Rams. Last time these 2 met, it was in the playoffs. The Vikings, the victors. To Dozier. To Walker. They swap sides. Walker down the far sideline. Walker all the way to the 44. Before being knocked out of bounds by Jerry Gray. Wade Wilson will open at quarterback for the Vikings. His first start in the last 5 games. He broke a knuckle on his left hand. This is the offensive line in front of him. One of the best. Zimmerman, McDaniel, Loudermilk, Kalis, Tim Irwin, and Steve Jordan, the tight end. Walker and Anderson, the running backs. Hassan Jones and Anthony Carter, the wide receivers. Gustafson and Lewis join those 2 when they go to 4. Wilson. Walker behind the line by Michael Stewart. The Ram defense, Reed, Wright, and Peel up front. Green, Owens, Stams, and Wiltshire, the linebackers. And in the secondary, Gray and Irvin, the cornerbacks. Newsom and Newman supposed to start at safety, but Stewart has begun there. Hicks and Henley when they go to their nickel package. Rick Finney. As Wilson rolls right. Is sacked by Doug Reed behind the line of scrimmage.
That was a change there, Pat. We saw Rick Finney. They split him out as a wide receiver, keeping Herschel Walker in the backfield. They probably wanted to get that Ram defense spread out, then be able to pick a hole with Herschel, but they went to the pass off it.
3rd and 19. Walker is out. They go with 4 wide receivers. And Rick Finney, the lone setback, back with Wilson. Flag on the play. Carter. They got him into the offense in a hurry. Enough for a first down, but a penalty marker down. The Vikings, one of the most penalized teams in the league, and this is another one against them.
That was one of the things Jerry Burns says yesterday. So what's the #1 thing you have to do? Because they really didn't play well Monday night. He said the number one thing we have to do is to get rid of critical mistakes, critical penalties. Well, I tell you, that'll kill a coach. I mean, you got things, people will complain about your play calling, your offensive coordinator, your quarterback. Boom, you get that third down, you hit Anthony Carter, the guy you get it to, and whap, they bring it back on you. So that doesn't even show up in the stats.
So it's third down and long, 24. Wilson hit just as he let it go, incomplete. And no penalty markers down. Hassan Jones was the intended receiver.
You can give that one to Kevin Green because, as you said, Pat, Wade Wilson was hit just as he threw it, and he was hit by Kevin Green. And it's tough to do that. Kevin Green is coming from the bottom of the screen. He's 91. Watch him. He's working there on Tim Irwin. He gets around the corner on him. There was no one to throw it to. And then just as he threw the ball, Kevin Green hit him.
So Bucky Scribner comes on to punt for the Minnesota Vikings with Darrell Henley deep for the Rams. They're coming after him. Good kick. At the 31 by Henley. 4-6 hang time on Scribner's punt. Deuce Bobek down to make the stop. Jim Everett, the quarterback for the Rams. He's had a hip pointer, but he said to us yesterday, it's as good as it's been in a long time. Pankey, Newberry, Smith, Slayton, Slater, and Damone Johnson, the tight end there in front of Everett. Bell, Buford, McGee open at the running back spots. Ellard and Anderson wide. Clipper Anderson with the man in motion. That's Greg Bell. Stopped by Ray Berry after a pickup of 2. Noga, Thomas, Millard, and Dolman. As John Madden pointed out, one of the best defensive lines in football. Merriweather, Studwell in the middle, and Ray Berry. Secondary has Lee, Rutland, Curtis, and Joey Browner. 2nd and 8. The Rams at their own 32. Everett to Bell. Not much doing to about the 35. Gain of 3. Browner. And he'll make a lot of tackles like that.
Well, Joey Browner is kind of a half linebacker, half defensive back, and wherever the ball is, you're going to find Joey Browner. And I think this is his type of game. If the Rams want to run, I think they're going to have to face Joey Browner all day, because against the run, he's as good at defensive back as there is in football. He's as good at safety as there is in football anyway.
That's Henry Ellard coming out of the backfield in motion. Everett on a draw play. To Bell. John Robinson said to us, we're going to run the ball on 3rd down, and as much as we have to run it, we're going to establish that running game. Not quite enough for a 1st down.
What he said is they don't want to challenge that 3rd down situation. They don't want to challenge that 3rd and long. And now this guy, Floyd Peters, who's the defensive coordinator of the Vikings, rush the passer. That's what Floyd teaches. Every down you rush the passer. You don't worry about the run. You'll just run into the run.
No matter where he's been, and as an assistant coach, that's been his philosophy. Anthony Carter will return the punts for the Vikings. Hatcher hangs one high. And Carter slips at about the 15, and Hatcher kept it up there. 4.5 seconds. And that's certainly adequate. Mike McDonald, the snapper, down to make the stop. 0-0 first quarter. Back at the Metrodome, 0-0. Key match for both these clubs, both 5-3. There's Bob Snelker, who's the offensive coordinator and who has been under fire for his play calling. He's used to that.
Well, isn't it something how the offensive coordinators in this league are getting bigger and bigger, and as they get bigger and bigger, they make more money, but they're taking a heck of a lot more criticism.
Wilson dropped the ball. He's chased. Finally just dumps it in the direction of one of his offensive linemen. Stams, the linebacker, flushed Wilson out of the pocket.
Now, this Viking offense is like they just got off a track. You know, like if you had a railroad or something and the thing was kind of half on the track and half off. That's the way this offense is. I mean, you can see that they're fighting it. You can see that they don't have confidence. And when you start where you can't even get the snap anymore, you know that's frustration.
It's almost, John, like they don't even know the snap count.
Well, that's a tough thing. And, you know, changing quarterbacks brings a little of that. This guy's been around.
That's Walker. About the 20, stopped by Alvin Wright. Green Bay ahead of the Bears. Very important game, particularly to Minnesota. Seattle over Kansas City. These all first quarter. 3rd and 6 here. Ball is right on the 20-yard line as again on 3rd down. Walker comes out. And Dozier has replaced him. Carter split wide to the right this time. They fake the inside handoff. They get it out to Anderson, and he'll have enough for a first down for the Vikings. Michael Stewart knocked him out of bounds.
They have 2 backs in the backfield in the shotgun, and you watch Anderson is going to come from the far side. See him sneaking through here? He started on the left side, come all the way over to the right, let the line go by. It's kind of like a draw play, and he doesn't get the ball till after he gets through the hole.
First down, Minnesota. They're out at about the 28-yard line. No score with 10 minutes and 2 seconds left in the first quarter. Walker back in the offense. Walker breaks out of the pack. Leroy Erden finally made the stop, but Herschel got 9.
And you see the thing that Herschel Walker has. I mean, Herschel Walker is a back that has speed and power. Now, you know about the speed, but watch his power. He's going to hit this from the I formation straight ahead, make a little cut there to the right, but watch him run with power now and finish that thing off. I mean, he hits those things, and the white jerseys go backwards.
2nd and 1. Walker will be the lone back this time as Anderson splits wide in the slot. Pass almost intercepted, intended for Carter. Jerry Gray almost came up with the interception.
Well, you had Jerry Gray caught that. That could have very well been a touchdown for the Rams. He has a jump on this thing, and watch the ball out here. Jerry Gray has the outside position. Carter doesn't. If he catches that ball, he could have gone right down the sideline. Anthony Carter was saying it was pass interference. Anthony Carter ran the out pattern, but Jerry Gray beat him to the out pattern.
Excellent coverage. Hand off to Rick Finney. He only needed about a half yard, and he got 4.
Anytime you need about a half yard, I think Rick Finney's the type of guy you give it to. You know, this guy's just built to get first downs. You know, I mean, he just looks like, what are you made for? Well, I was a kid, I was born, I had a little life, I was in kindergarten, and I just started rolling around for first downs.
240, that helps you roll. First down just outside the 40. Carter to the right. Hassan Jones split to the left. In front of Gray this time.
Hey, that's one guy they have to get the ball to, and anytime the Vikings, I mean, forget about Herschel Walker, even before he came here, the Viking offense is going to be a lot on their ability to get the ball to Anthony Carter. Anthony Carter is not only one of the best wide receivers in the league, but he's one of those guys that is always a threat to break a defense.
Look, he had such a great start this year, and in the last 4 games, only 6 passes. Wilson back to throw. Has to get it over to Gray, but she gets it to Hassan Jones. Falling backwards, a pickup of 15. Stewart made the stop.
You know, you can just see Wade Wilson starting to get a little more confidence now. He's been hitting Anthony Carter. Now he has Hassan Jones here. You see what you do against the zone? You just run up. Then you look for a hole, a seam between the linebackers. That's what Hassan did. He got beyond the corner and between the linebacker and just kind of came under control in that hole.
There at the Rams 30. Another first down. Walker behind Wilson. To about the 15, knocked out of bounds and herded out of bounds finally by Newsom.
I tell you, after they fumbled the snap down here in this line, the Viking offense is doing the things that they're supposed to do. Get the ball to Anthony Carter. Get the ball to Herschel Walker. Let him run to the inside, then bounce to the outside, use his speed. This is what they had in mind when they traded for Herschel Walker.
Super block in front of him by Tim Irwin. Wilson drops. Just threw it away. Rick Finney was the nearest Viking, but he had no shot.
Well, and they were covered well in the end zone. I think Wade Wilson was trying to go to the end zone. He had two receivers down there. Good coverage by the Ram defense. So that was one of those things that you have to give it to the Ram coverage.
They have had success, the Vikings have, inside the 20.
I would think they should stay with that same formula now, and I would either get the ball to Herschel Walker or throw it to Anthony Carter.
Walker split out as a wide receiver this time. Wilson again under pressure. Pass incomplete, intended for Carter, but again he had to unload before he was ready. Irvin was the defender. Flag on the play.
I think that was what he was trying to do. He had Herschel Walker split out there. He was trying to get the ball.
Illegal contact. 47 defense. 5-yard penalty.
And that's against Leroy Irvin, the guy who was covering Anthony Carter. You'll see 47, Leroy Irvin right there. He hit Anthony Carter after 5 yards. You see, that is a legal contact that he had if it's done before 5 yards. If you let the receiver get down 5 yards, then you can't touch it before the ball's in the air. Of course, it's no fun covering Anthony Carter. You got to use everything you got.
In most cases, you need some help.
Yeah, I mean, he not only runs good patterns, but he's so acrobatic in catching the ball.
Here's Walker. To about the 10. Mark Giroux, the Ram on the bottom of the pile. A gain of only a yard for Herschel.
You know, the interesting thing about Herschel Walker is those shoulder pads. He designed his own shoulder pads. And you see they come all the way down his back. He said that he uses his back to run with. Most guys, you know, they hit in the front. Then as Herschel gets hit, he'll turn his back. And he found by designing these shoulder pads that guys that try and tackle him from the back will bounce off. And it's happened about 3 times so far.
2nd and 9. He is again claiming interference. Michael Stewart was the defender.
Michael Stewart is going to be the inside guy, number 23. Watch him right there. You see, he did push Carter. Carter's saying that's the same thing that Leroy Irvin did to me on the other side. They saw the time Irvin did it. They didn't see that time when Stewart did it.
3rd and 9. The ball just at the 10-yard line. The Rams 10. No score yet. Wilson, semi-roll right. Gives it to Anderson. Bounces off a tackler and gets close to a first down. The Rams had him, hit him, but didn't stop him. Gain of 6.
Hey, Jerry Gray, the corner, number 25, came up. I don't know what kind of pass this is. It's a little roll screen, running type thing. But watch Gray, number 25, come up. He makes a hit, but he doesn't wrap his arms. You see how he wrapped his arms? He could have stopped him there. But he he still stopped him short of a first down, and the Vikings are going to go for a field goal.
About a yard shy of that first down. Scribner will hold for Rich Carlos. 20-yard effort. Is good. And so the Vikings, who have dominated the first quarter, lead 3-0. 5:12 left in the first. 14 plays, 5:42. They kept it. Carlos, 20-yard field goal, put them on the board. They lead 3-0.
And that was a good drive, Pat, after fumbling that snap down there. And again, I think that's the type of thing. Of course, they wanted a touchdown down here, but that's the type of drive they've been looking for, where they mix in the running of Herschel Walker and good crisp passing, get Anthony Carter in the game early.
That's what everybody says. That's unanimous. They've got so many great players that sometimes it becomes difficult to distribute it to everyone. Del Pino for the Rams from the 10 with a little gap. Good return for the Rams out to the 37. Joey Browner, who plays on special teams, plays defense. John said is semi-linebacker. He does just about everything.
Yeah, I like the story he was telling about how he got his number 47. He had the available numbers, and he called his mother, who he said is his best friend, his mother, his biggest fan, and said, "What number would you remember best of these numbers?" And she said 47. So Joey Browner says, "Okay, I want to be 47.
Everett to his tight end, Damone Johnson. 5 or 6 yards. Joey Browner again made the stop.
Well, you can see the problem that Jim Everett has had. You look at those first 5 games, he was doing everything. Quarterback rating 104. Now look, it's down to 61. He's had 10 sacks. The biggest thing, in the first 5 games, only 4 interceptions. In the last 3, he's had 5 already.
2nd and 5. Bell in the game. And the handoff is to Greg Bell. And a Ram first down. Travis Curtis made the stop for Minnesota, but Bell got 6 and a Ram first down.
Well, that's the thing that John Robinson believed, that he's going to run. He's going to run right at him, because this Viking defense is a pass-rushing front. And they're going to give you some gaps and some holes. But the thing is, they're going to throw you for some losses. It's not always going to work, but you can't abandon it.
At their own 48, a Ram first down. Nearing the end of the first quarter, reversed to Henry Eller. Eller hit hard by Joey Browner and Travis Curtis.
The other thing about Joey Browner, Pat, is even though we said he's always around the ball, and he brings a pretty big load with him too.
Yes.
You know, I mean, he just doesn't get out there and bring a guy down. I mean, he comes in there and faps him.
Well, he went to college at USC under John Robinson, and they put him down as a defensive lineman.
Yeah, he said his brother Ross Browner, of course, was a defensive lineman, so they just assumed that Joey Browner would be a defensive lineman. So he was moved from defensive line to cornerback.
Now to safety. Here's Bell with some room. Bell caught finally at about the 12 by Browner and dragged down there. At a 33-yard run by Greg Bell.
Hey, that's a good hole up the middle. Watch the I formation. He's going to flip to the left. The Vikings were in a stunt, and what they did is they stunted right out of the hole. And look at the big hole that stunt created for Greg Bell. And then Bell got there with Browner one-on-one. He just outran him right there. Browner is going to come in here at the end and come close to stripping that ball out of there.
Almost. Herb Hankey got a good block downfield. This is Bell again. Inside the 10 to about the 8. Brought down by Studwell. Bell got 4.
You know, one thing that John Robinson was saying, I believe it too, that you get a defensive line, it's a pass-rushing defensive line, like this Viking defensive line. They don't like to play against the run. Not because they're afraid of it, but they kind of get embarrassed that they want sacks. And they don't like it if you're going to run and not give them the chance to sack you.
And celebrate. 2nd and 6.
Those guys are down here. Look at that Keith Millard. He's ready to take off against the quarterback. He doesn't want to play against the run.
They get it outside to Buford McGee. Knocked out of bounds at about the 5.
Yeah, here, this is one of the first passes, and this is what they have to do. If the Rams are going to throw, they have to protect in the middle. You see right here? Smith is going to go there and help double on Millard. They're going to keep that middle clean so that Everett can just stand in there and step up. That's where he's been having the problems the last 2 weeks. And of course, the running game does help that because you got that Viking defense off balance.
3rd and 3. He is wrestled to the ground by Browner one more time. That'll be 1st and goal.
I'll tell you one thing, Pat, they're running right at Keith Millard. Watch it right here. Here's Millard. He's going in there, and they're running right in that hole. You see Pankey came down on him. They knocked him down, and that was where they got the hole. Watch it again. Here's Millard. Pankey's going to take him to the inside, and they're going to go right outside of Millard. Watch it. See, they get him up, rushing the passer, just turn him to the inside, double him, and that creates the hole.
1st and goal from the 1. Bell, touchdown. Studwell hit him, but Bell got it in.
Hey, the happiest guy in this stadium right now, Pat, is John Robinson. This is his football. This is what he wanted. He said this is what he preached all week. We're going to run, we're going to dominate him, and we're going to wear him down.
Good lead blocked by Buford McGee, the man in front of Bell.
Look at those eyes of Greg Bell. He knows everything that's happening to his left, to his right, and straight up the middle, and he knows what he has to do to get in that end zone. Just twist and turn a little.
Extra point is good by Lansford. And so, good drive by both of the offensive units. The Rams got the touchdown. They lead 7-3 with 41 seconds to go in the 1st. Bell scored the Ram touchdown. They kept it 8 plays, went 63 yards, and this was the key run by Greg Bell. 33 yards it is. Joey Browner, as you pointed out, John, almost scraped that ball loose. Bell is not a fumbler. Not by any means.
I think one thing on that drive, though, that we saw that the Ram offensive line has proven that they can run against this Viking defense.
Walker at the 1. Gray chasing. Gray finally gets him down at the 39.
That was a heck of a play by Jerry Gray. I don't care. When you get a guy like Herschel Walker, who is one of the fastest guys in the entire National Football League, and you get him bunched there, and now he breaks here. Now it's 1-on-1, and you in the whole field, and you can get him down. That is a big play.
Gave you some bad information. That was not the end of the 1st quarter. There's still 27 seconds remaining. The Vikings have the ball at their own 39. Rams leading 7-3. Paul Wiggin talking to his defensive lineman. Bavard, Dolman, Merriweather, the linebacker, who's contributed so much.
I'm sure what he's telling him, Pat, is that it looks like they're going to make a run scrimmage out of this game. So we still want to keep our aggressiveness, but be aware of the run.
Newman has replaced Stewart in the Rams secondary. That's Walker. That's one of those things you were talking about. He got hit in the back then as he tried to spin out. And he's said, I'm sure it was inadvertent, but a lot of times people step on me while I'm down.
Well, that's when he first started. He said as guys were, he was on the piles, he said as guys were getting up, they would step on his back. So he had cleat marks up and down his back, and he said he didn't want that anymore. So he had the pads made all the way down to his waist, and then he found out that it helped him in his running.
That is the end of the first quarter with the score, the Rams 7, the Vikings 3. At Summerall, John Madden, the Rams and the Vikings. 7-3 Rams at the end of a quarter. Rams ran for 64 yards in the first quarter, and the Vikings have no sacks. Of course, Jim Everett had tried to throw it very much. 2nd and 8. Viking ball at their own 41. Wilson. Steve Jordan. Brought down by Alvin Wright. 16-yard gain.
That's a heck of a play for a big old nose tackle. What happened is Michael Stewart is going to miss the tackle, but watch Alvin Wright. He's in there. He's just pulling the center down. He's looking for draw and stuff. Then he's going to go back and get some stuff in the secondary, and he tackles Steve Jordan from behind. Now, you're not going to see that on too many pass completions, the nose tackle making the tackle.
From behind. Screen pass coming to Anderson. Anderson hammers inside the Ram 30. Richard Brown brought him down.
Alfred Anderson ran that ball like a man possessed. I think the Monday night thing, you know, in those 2 kickoffs he fumbled, he's been living with that one all week. As Jerry Burns said, he said, I have more empathy for Alfred Anderson than any player I can ever remember, because this guy is not a fumbler. He's a hard-working, dedicated, good football player, and well, he looked on that run like he was trying to get it all back in one shot.
He also said he's one of the finest young men I've ever met. That pretty well covers it.
I'll tell you, as a coach, you just hate to see that happen to anyone.
Walker. Can't find much. Sean Miller was the principal tackler. 2-yard pickup for Walker.
Well, the Rams can tighten up in there on that defense in the middle, too. You know, they're kind of tough to run against. They use 2 defenses where they use a 3-man line where they have Wright in there. Then they go to this defense that they're going to be in there now where they only have 2 defensive linemen in there. See right there, 98 and 93. And then they have 5 linebackers.
That was Mark Giroux in the middle, and he backed out. Almost got a stop, but the Vikings get a completion to Carter. Pickup of 10.
You know, looks like Wade Wilson is grabbing that knuckle on that left hand. That's the one he hurt before, Pat. It's the knuckle on the left, on the ring finger. And he got it jammed all the way back into his hand. He has 2 pins now in that left knuckle.
And he got hit right on that spot by Doug Reed. He said it didn't bother him, but that was yesterday.
He had been hit on it.
To about the 14, stopped by Brown. A gain of 3.
There's the faces have been through some football games. Looked like he could draw plays up on that. Or some plays have been drawn up on that.
But what a great guy he is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he really is. He was saying yesterday that he's going to just be in this 2 more years. Has 2 more years in his contract, and he's going to do that. That'll be it. I'll tell you, this is a player's coach, Jerry Burns.
And he added, if I make it, 2 more years. He's close to a first down.
When you put Herschel Walker in the I formation and you let him get his shoulders squared and running up the field, it's going to take a whole bunch of white jersey guys to get him down. Watch this. Here's the I formation. This is where Herschel Walker's at his best. So he can get the ball deep. Now when he gets those shoulders squared, running through the hole, That's him at his best. And look at the number of guys it takes to get him down. You better bring some buddies.
Ball's down at about the 7-yard line. First down.
To succeed, not just survive.
To summarize, the Rams got 64 yards to Minnesota's 43, rushing that is. 9 rushes, 2 passes for the Rams, and Herschel Walker has been very effective. But I think the most important thing is both teams have been able to do what they set out to do.
Exactly. John Robinson says we're going to take the ball. We're going to dominate their defensive line. We're going to run. Jerry Burns says we have to get the ball to Herschel Walker. We have to get the ball to Anthony Carter. And thus far, both of them have been doing that. Tell you, Herschel Walker is really running with a band. I mean, he's been knocking guys down. That's Anthony Newsom there. And what happened on that replay is Herschel Walker got him with the knee right in the head. And you'll see it right here. Watch right here. There's 22 coming up. Watch the knee right there. So he just lifted the knee, got him right under the chin like an uppercut. Vince Newsom was hit earlier by Alfred Anderson, remember, on that screenplay. And then it looked like he was still woozy there. Then he comes in and Herschel Walker comes through the line just as Newsom was going to make the tackle. The knee came up. It looked like it came right up underneath his face mask there. Those safeties have had to make a lot of tackles in this first part of the game.
On both sides. Joey Browner's made a flock of tackles. Here comes Newsom. They're going to take him into the locker room and X-ray, I'm sure. Check further.
Like I said, I don't think he's going to remember much after he was hit on that sideline in a screen pass by Alfred Anderson.
First and goal on the 7. To about the 4.5 is Walker, stopped by Mark Giroux.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this offense we're seeing here by the Vikings, it's an I formation, and they were really not that type of team. The Viking offense had been a split back, and they would run traps and sweeps and passes more. Now with Herschel, they have made an adjustment to his presence, and they're using much more of this formation we're seeing right here.
Anthony Newman has taken Vince Newsom's place. And on to Anderson. Not much there. Alvin Wright.
And the fans are booing here, Bet. They're saying, heck, if you give a guy over $1 million to come here, a couple of Mercedeses, a car, 10 airline trips, why don't you run him down there? Bob Schnelker saying you can't give it to the guy every play.
Well, he can't give it to him now because he just took him out.
I don't know. They don't use them on the third down situations because they go to 4 wide receivers and they worry about their blitz protection.
So they keep Anderson back with Wilson. He slipped. Wilson has to keep it. It came right out of his shoe. That's what you call a quick start. Came right out of that thing.
Or a bad start. He blew a tire. You talk about being snake bit. I'm sure Jerry Burns and Bob Schnelker are thinking, what do we have to do? How about Alfred Anderson? He's the same guy who fumbled twice Monday night, gave 14 points to the Giants. Now he runs out of his shoe trying to get a score down here.
So we'll have a 24-yard field goal attempt by Rich Collins. It's good for holding. And good. And we have a one-point contest. With 9:09 left in the first half, it's 7-6. The Rams by 1. Left in the first half, Rams lead is 1 point. The man responsible for all the Viking points will kick it off. Carlos. Back deep, Ron Brown and Robert Delpino. Good high kick. It'll be handled by Brown at the goal line. about the 28. Flag on the play. Scoring drive. 11 plays. 24-yard field goal will finish it off. Penalty on the play. Gene Barth is the referee.
Illegal block in the back during the run back. Number 59. 10-yard penalty.
Boy, Gene sounded like he was happy to catch him, didn't he? Illegal run back.
That's the first chance he's had to talk, I think. One other penalty.
Well, the Rams came into the game wanting to run, feeling they had to run. And this is a position where you have to run. You're backed up like this inside the -20.
64 yards on the ground for the Rams. 8 yards passing. Everett, who's got it. Flag on the play. Back close to Everett's going to be holding against the Rams. The whole thing will be brought back.
That was the thing John Robinson wanted to do, I think, in this running. One is he believes in running, but two, he wanted to take some pressure off Jim Everett. Not let Everett have to take the burden of the whole offense is on
66
you.
offense. After this is to the goal line. Still first down.
Ball against Newberry.
That's the left guard. And you see he's right there. You see he's blocking against Keith Millard. Now Millard is going to bring a lot of penalties because he's going to make guys move before they want to because he's so quick. He's going to get beyond you and make you hold it.
First and 17. Bell. Not much room. You get some breathing room just outside the 10 to about the 11. Stopped by Chris Dolman. Bell got 4.
Now this is where this Viking defense is strong. When they can get you backed up where you have to pass and you get these long yardage situations. Now this is what John Robinson's trying to stay out of. You see these guys, you see Millard 75 away, gets in the huddle there. See Thomas, you see Dolman. Those guys are excited because they think they can smell a quarterback.
They like to feel like you're intimidated.
Yeah, and they want to just put their ears back and just run after you.
Second down. They need 12. DeBell to the 15.
See, and that's what the Rams are doing, Pat. They're not going to let them do that. They want to do it, but they're not going to let them do it.
Another penalty against the Rams.
Wonder how long he can stay patient with this, don't you?
It was almost like he vowed to himself, we're going to run the ball.
Illegal motion. Number 80 offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Oh, I'm surprised the Vikings took that. I'm surprised they didn't put him in third down. They wanted to keep him in second and long. I would bet the Rams just come back and run another play.
Second down and 17. The ball at the Rams 6. 7.5 minutes left to play in the first half. Out of his own end zone. Out to Buford McGee. Shot to about the 14. Ball popped loose, but he was down. Pickup of 8.
Hey, and nose tackles are having a big day against the pass today. We saw Wright make a tackle, and that time that was Henry Thomas. 97, he came out there, played over the center, hit in there, saw the pass, ran out there and was in on the tackle. This is probably, of this Viking defensive line, probably the most underrated guy because Al Noga there, 99, has started as playing very well at left end. You all know about Dolman. He's been a Pro Bowl player. Millard, maybe the best defensive tackle in the league. Thomas, the underrated guy.
Everett on third down. That one just hung there. Intended for Aaron Cox. Said it was interfered with, but to no avail. So Hatcher will come on the kick, and this time it's Leo Lewis back deep for the Vikings. And Hatcher in the pregame warm-up was really launching some rockets, almost hitting the top of the dome.
Punters love Dome Stadium. All kickers love Dome Stadium.
The absence of wind.
Hatcher would like to take this joint home with him.
Another good one. Lewis signals fair catch at his own 40. Game time of 4-3, a 45-yard punt by Hatcher. The Vikings will take over 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line. CBS 12:30 Eastern Time. The NFL today. Washington at Philadelphia. And a very important contest for both. John Madden and I will be in Anaheim as the Giants visit the Rams. Check your local listings, but they'll be on at 12:30.
Tell you, those Giants did a heck of a job Monday night,
Didn't they?
against this Viking team. Lose their quarterback, still put that effort up.
Jordan. And I'm sure that's going to be face mask.
That's against Anthony Newman. That could be anything. That could be anything from face mask to hitting in the head to assault.
They only gained a couple of yards. And here's the walk-off.
Personal foul, 15-yard face mask penalty, 26 defense.
Yeah, that's a bad one. You can have two types of face mask penalty. The inadvertent one, which is only 5 yards, or the bad one, which is 15 yards. In other words, they say that's unnecessary roughness. If you grab a hold and really jerk the thing, I guess that thing just looked awfully violent.
So does that thing.
Sounds like a nose tackle.
First down, it's Carter. And he stretches it down to about the 14. Stewart made the stop with a gain of 25.
Hey, there's the guy you have to get the ball to. He's a big play. You don't have to throw 80-yard passes to him. You just come here. Here it is, a slant. What? Boom, the play fake out of the I formation. He just hits that thing in a slant between his zone. And Carter, once he catches the ball, he doesn't just think catch it, look it into your hands, go down. He thinks catch it or run it for a touchdown.
The Vikings were telling us yesterday that he's probably physically better than he's been at any point this year. Here's Walker. To about the 11. Doug Reed on the stop.
Yeah, they can just get and keep things going the way they got them now. I think they're on the right track. Maybe I would just keep Herschel Walker in there every down. Maybe he's at the point in the offense where he doesn't have to come out on 3rd downs anymore, because that's one of the areas they're having their problems, this Viking offense.
He was saying to us yesterday that we asked him about the offense and was he familiar with it. He said, I've given myself about 95% of familiarity.
Well, he's split out here as an end out here.
Carter does the motion. Ball was thrown behind him, and Wilson is upset with himself.
Because that play was designed for Carter, Pat, and he knew it. He had him all the way, and it looked like he threw a drop. One of those things, what do they call it in baseball now? A split finger?
Split finger, yeah.
Yeah, split finger that kind of drops on you a little, and Wade Wilson had a little tail on that thing. But see, Carter, look at him. You can see he's into this game. His eyes are big, he's excited, he's having fun. If you get him the ball early, he can be a dominant player. If you don't get him to him early, sometimes he'll lose interest in the game.
Wilson called a timeout. The Vikings now have 2 left. 4:34 left in the first half. Some of the other scores around the league. Miami beating Indianapolis. Jets desperately needing a win.
Jets beating anyone is a story.
Tampa Bay led early, but Cleveland's back in command now, it seems. That's a little bit of a surprise, too. Detroit beating Houston.
Jim Everett is trying anything to get out of this slump. You can see he has a little beard there going. you go 0-3, you'll do anything to change your luck.
It's basically what he said yesterday. I just thought I'd try it. Give this to Finney. He is close to a first down. Richard Brown tripped him up.
Now they're going to have fourth down. The fans want him to go for it. Gary Burns says kick the field goal. I know. I would question why Herschel Walker couldn't run that play. I mean, Finney is good, but it was third and a little longer, and that's the type of thing that maybe you'd want him in there.
It looked like they needed only a foot initially. Then they marked it back just outside the 10. A 22-yard try for Carlos. He's 2 for 2 today. He's 3 for 3 now. 3:50 left to play in the first half, and the Vikings have taken the lead back. They lead 9-7 on 3 field goals by Carlos.
Big day for Carlos. You know, one of the most nervous people that come to these games now is Carlos's sister. Carlos's sister is married to the Viking center, Kirk Loudermilk. So she was saying she used to be able to come and just watch the old center in there, and unless he was holding or something, or got hurt, it was kind of a nice game. Now she has a husband as a center and a brother as a kicker, and she has a double dipper going, and it's really twice as tough to watch a Viking game.
Apparently, Carlos said something about the way the Viking offensive lineman dressed a couple of weeks ago. So at practice, they took him and tied his hands together and his feet together and hung him upside down for 5 minutes.
Yeah, they're lucky it was only 5 minutes. You talk about offensive linemen, they'll gang up on you. They may hang you up there and leave you for a month. There's his brother-in-law, Kirk Loudermilk, one of the top centers in the league. Real tough guy, you know, spirited guy. Guy who's always running around hitting and laughing and stuff about it.
Carlos claims that his brother-in-law, Loudermilk, was the instigator of that upside-down business. Well, the center spends a lot of his life upside down anyway.
And being an instigator.
Next week, number 7, Miami, the Hurricanes, facing number 14, Pittsburgh, next Saturday at 2:30 Eastern Time here on CBS. Both of them, both teams, need a victory to stay in the bowl picture. Scoring drive, again, finished off by a field goal by Carlos, 6 plays, 54 yards. Big one, a pass to Anthony Carter. Everett to Bell. Nothing. Ray Berry was the first man to hit Bell.
Vikings weren't sure Ray Berry was going to play today. He didn't practice all week. Had an ankle. He was out there yesterday, and he said he would go. I met his brothers were at practice. In fact, the Viking practice yesterday, out Pat, they had all their friends. There were relatives. There were brothers, mothers, kids. All that stuff. I was standing next to Ray Berry's 2 brothers. And I'll tell you, Ray Berry, he got the size of that group. The other one didn't get much grunt.
He showed him the weight room while they were touring. Here's Everett back to throw it. Out to Bell. Not much there. Studwell. 13 years for Scott Studwell, and he still is as enthusiastic as ever.
There's that LA defense. You see what happens on 3rd down. See, defenses will go over there and you get to sit down on 1st and 2nd down. Then it gets to be about 3rd down. You start getting up again and think, well, it's about time to go back to work. There's Kevin Green, number 91, their big pass rusher, nicknamed Troglodyte.
Which means what, cave dweller?
Yeah, something like that. Prehistoric cave dweller. Should know those words.
Heller. Chased by Darrell Smith. Heller, very explosive when he comes off a cut.
I'll tell you, he's having a heck of a year. He's caught over 50 passes in half the season.
2-minute warning. The Vikings lead by 2 points.
out there, his favorite receiver. He sees one-on-one here, and he knows that's where he's going to go. Watch this pass pattern. He just gets him up, just moves him. He gets one-on-one. Now that's where Jim Everett wants to find Ellard. Ellard works him, comes back, catches the ball to 50, and then explodes. One thing that he has is great acceleration. Watch the way Henry Ellard gets that ball and turns it on. John Robinson says he has great separation.
They go together. You accelerate, you separate. Pitches back to Bell. He's got a little room. Bell hit by Berry. A pickup of 8.
Ray Berry is one of those guys that has helped this Viking defense too. They needed an outside linebacker. When he's healthy, he's very good against the run. You know, he can see a hole, he can see a runner, and boom, he can get on a track and hit that thing. He can still get fooled on the pass, though, and play pass and still get it.
They need 2 yards. They don't get it. Henry Thomas stopped Bell short of the first down. Lost perhaps a yard. Rams take a timeout. A minute and 20 seconds remain as Everett visits the sideline. These Cardinals are getting burned by their fans in the desert. That should be interesting. Here's Everett. Flushed out of the pocket. Looking in the direction of Holohan and Ellard, but rushed by Dolman.
That surprises me a little because both Jim Everett and John Robinson said that they felt they've been going to Pete Holohan too much on that third down situation, and today they were going to get away from it. They get down here the 30-yard line, a big third down, and who do they go to? Boom, there's Pete Holohan. They're looking.
Holohan is the holder. Lansford from 47 yards. Going to have to hurry. Hit the crossbar and bounced away, no good. Another foot.
You know, that could go back to that tackle that Henry Thomas made there. There was just that when he threw him on the second down, he threw him for a loss. That makes a coach do the back bends. You run and you don't get that 3 or 4 yards and you leave it on that end of it. That'll bend you over the other way.
First and 10 Minnesota. A minute 10 remains in the first half. Vikings leading 9-7. Wilson started to go deep. So Carter saw he was covered and hit Herschel Walker. Stewart stopped it. 14-yard gain. Wilson to Walker. Timeout Vikings.
That's one thing Wade Wilson gives you besides the ability to throw on the run. That was a pretty good thing. He was going to kind of roll out a bootleg to the right and throw to the right. There was nothing there, and he was able to come back to Herschel in the middle.
Rams have 2 timeouts remaining. Minnesota just has 1. 1 minute, 1 second remain in the first half.
I think if I were the Rams defense here, I'd put about 3 guys on Anthony Carter. Then I'd put about 3 on Herschel Walker. And I would say beat me with Hassan Jones or Steve Jordan.
Well, they have 2 out with Carter. Now Green leaves him, and he's going to come on a blitz. They get it right to Carter. But unfortunately, it's on 1 hop.
Hey, Wade Wilson, I think, is just a little rusty because that's the second or third time we've seen that ball drop on him like it's dropped off the table. It gave Anthony Carter a big cushion out there. Jerry Gray was really off him. Carter ran it out. He was open by 5 yards. Just watch the cushion that Jerry Gray gives here. He's off him 5 yards. You can hit him now, but you got to hit him on a fly. again, it's just at the end of the half, so they're giving a little cushion. We saw Jerry Gray on the other side here. Leroy Irvin, just enough cushion to get that out. That was a good read there by Wade Wilson. You know, he came back, he threw the one short to his right, came back and made a good throw to Hassan Jones.
Stop the clock with 54 seconds now left in the first half. Vikings trying or hoping to get Carlos back in range one more time. Here comes a Ram blitz. Pass is caught by Jones. Now they say incomplete. Jerry Gray was the defender.
The thing here, he has him here in the middle, but the rush got him. And again, the ball is thrown a little low and a little to the outside, or too much to the outside. That was a bad throw, but it wasn't all Wade Wilson, because he was pressured pretty good on that one.
Second down with 48 seconds to go. Second and 10. Vikings at the Ram 44. Deep to Carter. And short.
I'll tell you, if Wade Wilson could throw the ball in this series, Anthony Carter could have had a heck of a series. We saw him on the right, run the out. Now we watch him here. Watch him on this up here. He is going to run right by Irvin. He would have had him by 3 or 4 steps had that ball been thrown out there.
And Irvin comes back to the Ram huddle. He's not there yet, but he's coming back limping.
I tell you run up like that, I'd come right back and do it again. They don't have Carter out on this side, but I'd come right back and run another up on Leroy Irvin.
They have Gustafson out with Irvin this time. To Walker. To about the 28-yard line. Another Viking first down. A pickup of 15. The Vikings take a timeout. And that's it.
Well, that's their last timeout. Now they're about 50 yards away from a field goal. Or it'd be about 45 yards away from a field goal. So they got that. They have 34 seconds. But with no timeouts, they have to save some time to get their field goal team on. So they have to do one of two things. Either throw to the sidelines and get out of bounds, or throw the ball into the end zone. In fact, I think if I were doing it here, I would just take, I don't know if Wade Wilson could get the ball to Anthony Carter, but if he could, he sure had some things going on this drive to do it.
A couple of times. How he has distributed his passes. This is Wade Wilson, 5 of 13 to the wide receivers, 5 for 5 to the running back.
He's lost a little strength in his arm somewhere.
Up the middle intended for Jordan. Michael Stewart was covering Jordan.
I still think I would have gone to Anthony Carter. He was wide open out there. I mean, he was man-on-man out there. But he's looking right here for Steve Jordan. And that's the second one he's thrown in the middle that's been low and behind. He threw one to Hassan Jones, then he threw this one. Now watch Carter. This is all you can ask for is one-on-one. Leroy Irvin is there with him. But when you get Anthony Carter one-on-one, I think you got to get him the ball.
They got the same matchup this time. In the middle, intended for Walker, almost picked off. Mel Owen. Almost had it.
He felt that collision, though. Look at him. Mel Owens hasn't straightened up yet from that collision with Herschel Walker. Now they get to this third down again.
They have 26 seconds left in the first half. No timeouts left. They go with their 4 wide receiver package.
This is a frustrating thing. The guys can get open. The quarterback can't get it there.
Wilson. Hassan Jones. Out of bounds. Covered by Leroy Irvin.
That's the 4 wide receivers. Hassan Jones is 84. Again, Irvin is a little cushion off, but also playing to the inside. You see, so that combination of a little cushion being off and then
22 seconds now remaining. First down, Vikings at the Ram 12. They lead by 2. And again, they show the Rams the 4 wide receivers. No Walker. Over Carter's head. Incomplete. 18 seconds still.
You know, you look at time, and it's amazing how many plays you can get in a short period of time, even with no timeouts. And again, you have to direct them to the sidelines and to the end zone. That's why I was surprised that Leroy Irvin was playing off into the inside, because you want to protect always against a touchdown. I mean, you always want to protect the goal line, but you also want to protect, in this situation, the sideline, not let them out of bounds.
Second down. Wilson's going to take off up the middle. Is he hit? Newman. Now he wants the hurry-up group. They're going to have too many men on the field. He couldn't get the field goal team back off the field.
Yeah, but he was able to get the ball snapped and down, so at least they're going to get a chance to kick the field goal. They're going to take a penalty, but by getting that ball snapped and just throwing it down, that stopped the clock. Had he not got the ball snapped, then the time would have run out.
They're still not sure what's going on. They got the field goal team in now.
Well, they didn't give him the penalty yet. They didn't march off the penalty.
Right. You suppose the Rams refused it?
I think the officials are talking about it. You know, did they let the center snap the ball? The half can't end on a defensive penalty. It can end on an offensive penalty.
Delayed game penalty is refused. It's 4th down.
They didn't call a penalty on the Vikings, I guess, for too many men in the field.
They had 2 flags down on the field.
They said it was a delayed game.
Flag on that play. Now what
False
happened?
start, number 74.
Well, the field goal was good, but they're going to bring that back.
Here's the thing that John Robinson was complaining about. Here's the last play with 18 seconds left in the clock. I see. Now, the Vikings have no timeouts. The umpire didn't stand over the ball so they could center. So he threw it down with 2 seconds. So that was okay. Now, I think that they had too many men in the field. They didn't call that penalty.
Thereby the clock should not have started. Put 2 seconds back on the clock and will enforce a 5-yard penalty for the false start.
Now, that's right. That's the next play.
Right. 2 seconds they put back on the clock. So Scribner this time will hold. And the field goal will be just over 25 yards. He's 3 for 3. He is 4 for 4. And on 4 field goals, the Vikings lead the Rams 12-7. Unusual first half, but exciting. That's the end of the first half with the score. Minnesota 12, the Rams 7.
Eric, can they beat him with just field goals?
No, they can't do it with field goals. But 4 times they came up with them in the first half.
So Rich Carlos with 4 field goals, and so the score right now is 12-7, and the Vikings beating the Rams. Let's take a look at some of that action now from the Metrodome. Vikings coming off that tough Monday nighter, but how about the Rams? They've lost 3 in a row. Running game's been sluggish, but not here. Greg Bell turns it up for 33 yards. That led to a touchdown, and John Robinson obviously pleased. Alfred Anderson, confusion in the backfield. Wade Wilson returning to the starting lineup. And Alfred lost his shoe on that play, and it was the 3rd time that they got inside the 10-yard line and came up a little short. Now, the rest of you are watching the Bears and the Packers. Tough defensive game in Lambeau Field. Packers with the lead, and it is 7-3. magic. What a throw there.
Good throw on the play-action pass. He picks up Clint Didier, the former Redskin tight end, who took up as a Plan B player for a 24-yard touchdown.
Then it was Jim Harbaugh's turn. Now they went to the flea flicker, and folks, when you get the flea flicker, you got to throw it down the field. But instead, it goes to the safety valve from -3 in that situation. And Green Bay playing a splendid defensive game, as you can see. 7-3 Packers with the lead. At the half now, Buffalo and Atlanta, and the Falcons playing well against the Bills, who welcome back Jim Kelly today. He has thrown a 6-yard touchdown pass to James Lofton, the former Packer and Raider in that game. Miami, and it's a field goal day for the Dolphins, 12-3 over the Colts right now at the half. The Jets in New England, this would be a big-time upset. The Jets are trying to snap their horrendous losing streak. They lead the Patriots right now, 14-3. Cleveland and Tampa Bay, and the Browns are having it every which way. They have just popped in another touchdown, and they lead at 34-14 over the Bucks. And 2 Testaverde passes were returned for touchdowns within 19 seconds. So 2 more defensive touchdowns for the Browns in that game. Detroit at Houston. You know, losing teams frequently will play much better on the road. They get away from the home environment. They're not booed. The Lions go down into the Astrodome. The Oilers think they're going to have it their way. And watch this. Off the option, here comes Barry Sanders, and this run sets up a touchdown. Sanders came in over the top. And Jerry Glanville a little bit concerned because watch here. Pete on a beautiful scramble out of trouble. We'll find Robert Clark. I want you to take a look at the hit after the catch. 15 yards on the ensuing kickoff. And then it was Rozier back for a touchdown that has got the Oilers tied now with the Lions at 14 deep into the second quarter. You all know that Seattle does not win in Kansas City, and today they're down 17-10 at the half. All right, switching now to the marathon, the New York City Marathon, which concluded earlier today. Really a splendid finish for an American runner. Ken Martin wound up second. That's the highest American finish in the marathon in New York since 1982. Kuma Ikanga of Tanzania was the winner. And over on the women's side, Norway's Ingrid Christensen. And that's a splendid time for her, 2:25 time. Herb, how long would it take you to run a marathon?
It took me 5 hours to run a London Marathon.
You know, in rush hour, I don't think you could drive that in 2:25. Come to
No way.
All right. We'll continue right after these messages from your local stations.
Back at the Hubert Humphrey Metrodome, where as we get set to start the second half, Los Angeles Rams trail the Minnesota Vikings 12-7. 1-yard touchdown by Greg Bell for the Rams. 4 short field goals for the Vikings by Carlos. Those are the points.
And the Rams are going to get the ball this half. You know, Henry Ellard came into the game with 51 pass receptions. He's only caught 1 in this second half, and we talk about Anthony Carter being a big play guy. Well, Henry Ellard is that guy for the Rams, and I think that somewhere in this game, they're going to have to get the ball to this guy. He looks like he's thinking that too, doesn't he?
I'm sure Jim Everett's thinking that as well. It's going to be Ron Brown. Ball goes out of bounds.
That's a heck of a thing. Carlos has those 4 field goals, but then you kick the ball out of the bounds. And the new rule they put in a year ago, instead of the 5-yard penalty and kicking over, now the receiving team gets the ball on the 35. So that doesn't look like much, but usually you want to keep the team, the kickoff return team, inside the 20. When you kick it off out of bounds, that's like giving them 15 yards.
So that's where the Rams will start from. 1st and 10 at their own 35. Bell hit behind the line of scrimmage. Flag on the play. They might take some of that 15 yards away.
One of the things the Viking defense does is they jump off sides a lot. So the Rams were going to try and go with a hard count somewhere. I don't think they've done it yet because I haven't seen the Vikings jump off sides.
Well, the crowd, for one thing, this is one of the
Holding 86 offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay the first down.
noisiest stadiums anywhere. The crowd crowd really hasn't made a lot of noise today.
I think the crowd here in Minnesota is still shocked from what happened to the Vikings Monday night against the Giants. They're waiting to see, which team are we going to see? The team that we expect to be a Super Bowl team or the team that laid an egg in New York?
1st and 20. They move it back to the Ram 25. Everett back to throw. Up the middle to Delfino, who is upended by Scott Studwell as soon as he caught the ball.
I think Everett was upended by Millard and Dolman, too, on a little short pass like that. He's probably thinking, if I get knocked down on a short little pass like this, what am I going to get on a big old pass? Watch, Dolman's coming on a stunt. He comes right up the middle. He and Millard both hit Everett as he throws that little 4-yard dink. Boy, if you can't get protection on a thing like that, you aren't going to get one on the medium range passes.
Second. Back to Bell. Again, that Viking defense, the best in the NFL, is all over Greg Bell, led by Chris Dolman.
He came to practice yesterday. Chris Dolman wasn't there. He had the flu. Temperature, they sent him home. Came out here today and says he feels fine. Of course, he just made 2 big plays in a row. The first one, the pass rush on a stunt, and then throwing the run for a loss when they try and come at him.
He was a linebacker. That's why he wears number 56.
Now one of the
defensive end. And
one of the best pass rushers in football.
Ellard comes wide to the left. He'll be covered by Reggie Rutland. They want to draw play to Bell. Fumble. And the Vikings have it.
That's the draw or delay. They tried to take advantage of the pass rush.
Studwell came up with a recovery.
I think Joey Browner knocked it off. Watch 47, Pat. He's right in there. He's going to come up and draw a big hole in there. See Browner? He reached in with his right hand and grabbed it. He was the guy that started the thing to come out of there.
You were telling us last year when we were here that Joey Browner has got the strongest and biggest hands of anybody in pro football.
He has gigantic hands. That's why he's such a good tackler. That's why he can strip the ball like that.
That's Walker. Stopped by Stewart, picked up 7.
Herschel Walker said he really doesn't know much about Minnesota yet. He said all it's been so far is the practice field in a hotel. Said by the time I get home, it's dark out at night. I can't see anything anyway. I really don't know much about Minneapolis. I'm sure it's a nice place though.
Can't even look for a house, he said. But they did find one. To be in by next week. Here's Walker. A lot of Rams, led by Frank Stans. Stop Walker after he gained 2 yards.
You know, guys, after they tackle Walker, do you notice they always get up slowly?
Yeah.
There's something about, I can understand a guy being fast, and that's what Herschel Walker is. But how a guy can be fast and strong and powerful, you don't get that combination much of a real fast guy who runs over people. Usually fast guys run around things.
3rd down. About 2. Anderson takes the handoff. Stands again, the tackler. They got 3.
There's big Kirk Loudermilk in there leading that way. We talked about him. He's one of the best centers in the game. See, you got that jersey cut there to let the arms have a little freedom so you can do whatever you have to do. Loudermilk always wants to get the first hit on every play and the last push.
And oftentimes he does. 1st down, Vikings. Ball's at the Ram 18. Finney. That same pass they used earlier, only this time he faked to Walker. Jerry Gray made the stop.
Here's here's where Minnesota's been having the problems today. They've been able to move up and down the field successfully, but once they get inside that 20, not being able to get it into the end zone. Or you can look at it the other way and say the Ram defense has bent, but they haven't broken. Never liked that theory.
No. Finney and Anderson are the two back. The handoff is to Finney. Hit by Gray behind the line of scrimmage. Good play by the cornerback.
I think the fans are starting to feel that same frustration, know that you move down the field, you're going to Hershey, you're going here, and then you come back in and you just can't get the plays that you need. Again, I always believe in that thing, get it to the guys that brought you where you are.
Stams, who made a couple of good plays on that last Minnesota drive for the Ram defense, I think re-injured his shoulder on that last play, and he headed to the sideline. Richard Brown took his place in the middle. Wilson outside for Finney. Taken down by Kevin Green.
And the fans don't like that, and I agree with them. I mean, they're going to put Carlos in the Hall of Fame here today, but you got guys you pay millions of dollars to, and you got your Carters, and you got your Walkers, and you got all these guys on third down. You'd think you'd have to get it to them. I mean, Rick Finney is a shorter pass down. I mean, you can't get the ball to him on a little down. He just gets tackled and thrown out of bounds. You kick the field goal.
Carlos from 29 yards this time. He has 4 already. This is the long one. This one is perfect as well. And so it's 15-7 in favor of the Vikings with 8:47 left, third quarter. Metrodome in Minnesota. All the points accounted for by Rich Carlos, 5 for 5. That ties the Viking record, which is shared by Fred Cox, Jan Stenerud, 5 in a game. That's a regular season record. Carlos will kick it off. Brown again, this time at the 2. Out to the 35. Deuce Bubek made the tackle. 33-yard return by Brown. Next Sunday, Redskins against the Eagles, Bears at Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, New England. And then in the second half of the doubleheader, the Giants visit the Rams in Anaheim, Atlanta at San Francisco. It'll all commence at 12:30 Eastern Time with that group. The NFL today. First down, Rams at their own 34. On the draw play, and again a flag is down. Joey Browner made the stop.
You know, Jerry Burns was worried about the penalties yesterday, but they're killing the Rams today.
Really?
Remember in the last drive, they got the ball, they got the break, and the kickoff, boom, they run.
Holding, 56, 10-yard penalty, replay the first down.
We were talking about this yesterday, and it seems like there's more and more calls being held on the offensive line. Watch the center right there. It's against Doug Smith. They're calling them on running plays. They never used to call offensive holding on running plays, and now it seems to be about half and half.
7 penalties for the Rams, 3 of them for holding. Del Pino splits wide right. Everett back to throw. Bell, and he knew he was going to get hit, and was, by Berry.
This is the thing that we talk about, that the Rams are going to have to get to some passing. And I think they have to get some pass protection. And the quarterback has to be able to find some guys open. He does not have the confidence now. He is hoping that ball in there or wishing it in there. They really hung Greg Bell out to dry on that one.
Got to get it upfield, too. 2nd and 20.
I don't know that he wants to do it in this situation. He's going to get a big, big pass rush here.
Delpino, the intended receiver, covered by Merriweather, incomplete.
Hey, and now with 3rd and long, he's going to get a bigger pass rush. That was good pass protection, though. I'll say this, Everett has had pretty good time today. I think the offensive line of the Rams have done a pretty good job against this Viking defense.
They had a new scheme of blocking they were going to use against Millard if they could figure out where he's coming from.
Yeah, they're going to have the center, Doug Smith, always step towards Millard. So in essence, Millard will be double teamed on every pass.
For Henry Ellard, incomplete. Now the crowd comes to life to cheer the defense. There's one of the most dominant defensive players in pro football.
Yeah, because when he beats a guy, he's in the quarterback's face. He comes right up the middle all the time.
Hatcher's punt is a good one to Lewis. 4-5 hang time. Richard Brown down to make the stop. A 45-yard punt by Hatcher. Vikings will take over. See a lot of those hats here at the Metrodome today. Jacob's Hope. Listen, the reason being that on October the 22nd, Jacob Wetterling, who's 11 years old, was abducted at gunpoint. And this whole community, Viking fans, and the whole state, as a matter of fact, have gotten behind the effort to find him as Herschel Walker finds a hole to the left.
In fact, you're talking about looking for Jacob. Even Herschel Walker, who just ran that last play, has been part of it and been on television and doing things. If anyone has seen Jacob or heard anything to, call numbers and so on. As you say, it's something that's not just the Vikings are part of this football game, but it's the whole area. And this is a big thing, and everyone is a part of trying to find Jacob Wetterling.
On 2nd down, Walker again. For an NFL update, let's send you to New York. Here's Brent Musburger.
All right, Pat, we're going to show you a fumble recovery. Houston turns it over on Detroit. Intercepted, that is. Fumble again, and here's William White. And the Lions have built a 10-point lead, 24-14. Back to Pat.
15-7 here with 6:54 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Measurement for a first down. The Vikings have it. The Rams haven't made but one first down since the 1st quarter.
I think part of that is their play calling and trying to just run the ball and be conservative. And then Everett goes back to pass, and he has no confidence whatsoever. And then the other part of it is good Viking defense. But Jim Everett is a quarterback who is in a slump or whatever, who lost whatever he had and can't find it.
Walker again. And he burrows into Ram territory before he's stopped by Mel Owens, picked up 3.
Everyone's saying you got to get the ball to Herschel. We said he carried it 11 times in the first half, and Herschel is going to earn a part of that contract today.
Which I know is okay with him.
Yeah, he likes that. I think, again, Anthony Carter would like to earn a little more of his. Anthony Carter would like to have a little more contract.
He was pretty vocal about that earlier in the year. He missed almost all of the training camp. Here's Wilson back. Carter. And finally wrestled to the ground by Michael Stewart at about the 20, but a gain of 27 yards.
That's what I like about Carter. I mean, not only does he get open, he catches those, but he has fun doing it. He always has a smile on his face. I mean, he's out there. In fact, he's calling for something from the sideline for someone to come into him. Let's watch it on the chalkboard. Here he is up here. Now, once you cushion, he'll always get, boom, a deep sideline, and he's just hit out there by Wade Wilson. But once you cushion, you have to get him. You're always worried about what he's going to do. Drives you deep, come back. But watch after he catches the ball. He can run and break tackle.
This is Anderson. And an excellent block by Herschel Walker in front of that.
That's another way Herschel Walker's earning his salary today. I think that, you know, what is it? The Vikings have been in this area. This is their 6th time today.
Right.
And they haven't come out with a touchdown yet. And they get to 3rd down, and then they can't convert the 3rd down. Maybe keeping it shorter will be better.
2nd down. They need just 2.
Tim Irwin, number 76, made a signal with his left hand behind his back. They caught him.
Well, they were asking for quiet on the way up to the line.
76, offense, false start, no snap, 5-yard penalty.
I don't know what this signal is. Watch 76 right there. He lifts his left hand. But you couldn't see it there. He lifted his left hand like he was signaling something to the quarterback.
Like your doubles partner in tennis.
Yeah, once they get down in a 3-point stance, they can't move anything.
2nd and 7. Walker. Wrapped up by Wilshire, no gain. That'll bring up 3rd and 7.
And this is where they take Herschel Walker out now, and looks like they're going to leave Herschel in on this 3rd down. Usually they've been taking him out. They do have Rick Finney in there. But they've been doing 2 things. I mean, that haven't been successful. Either trying to run for it, not picking it up, or throwing it short of the 1st down.
3rd and 8. Knocked away, intended for Hassan Jones and Jerry Gray, the defender. And again, we'll see Mr. Carlos.
I don't know. You know, the fans are booing. The fans don't like it. Carlos likes it. His sister likes it. But the way the Rams are playing, it's not bad because they're not having success inside the 20, but they're building up the lead.
36 yards this time for Carlos, and Scribner holding. This is his longest effort of the day. And good again. 6 for 6. And so with 3:20 left to play in the 3rd period, it's the Vikings 18 and the Rams 7. Eight plays, 43 yards. They kept the ball 4:26. Rich Carlos, 36-yard field goal. He has accounted for all the points. 6 for 6. This is going to be Del Pino at the 1. Anderson down in a hurry.
Let's watch the stuff that happens here. At the bottom there, you see when you make contact out there, you get hit and your hat just goes flying off. Hey, that's a tough decision there. You go back for the hat and you go for another hit without a hat.
Wouldn't be tough for me.
You go for the hit without the hat, I know that.
Here's Everett back to throw it. Into the crowd, but he got it in there to Damone Johnson. Merriweather and Browner. Gain of just 5.
You know, one of the things you have to wonder is the Rams started out so well. They were 5-0 and one of the only undefeated teams in the NFL. Jim Everett was a hot quarterback. Henry Ellard was catching passes all over. And then, boom, you lose it. And you wonder, one, how'd you lose it? And two, where'd you go? Will it ever come back?
They need very desperately to find it. Handoff is to Del Pino. He hammers outside the 35. Travis Curtis finally stopped him, but he got 16 yards.
Yeah, that's the thing that the Viking defense does give you. Watch this pass rush. It's a running play, but the Viking defense is going after the quarterback. And in doing so, they will run by some ball carriers. Chris Dolman wasn't even blocked on that play. Millard was going after Everett, and boom, Del Pino hits him right between them.
Everett on first down. Behind Del Pino.
I think Jim Everett had trouble with some pass protection a few weeks ago, and now is sometimes imagining pressure that is not there. And, you know, and that's happened to quarterback. We've talked to Phil Simms. He said that after you get rushed, you hope that you can stay patient and not imagine a rush. I think Jim Everett is imagining rushes.
Brings up the 2nd and 10 at the 37. That's Del Pino. And he paid the price. 4-yard pickup, hit by Merriweather and Studwell.
I think somewhere in this game for the Rams to get back in it, I think they have to loosen this Viking defense up. And the way to do it is either they have to get the ball to Henry Ellard or maybe Flipper Anderson, who we haven't heard from, who is the speed guy of this Ram offensive team.
They haven't been able to get the ball to him at all. The two you were talking about are split wide to the left. Intended for Damone Johnson. Incomplete.
The Vikings got that one down. The Rams have gotten it well too many times. There were 3 Vikings on Johnson. He wasn't even looking. And again, I think he's just trying to get rid of the ball too quickly. But look, why throw it to him anyway? It's short of a first down. He's not looking. There's 3 guys on defense there.
All 3 Viking linebackers. Leo Lewis fields it at the 15. Flag on the play. Against the Rams.
I would think that they would just turn it down and take the ball there. They have pretty good position.
Kicking team had 12 men in the field. We'll replay the down. 5-yard penalty.
They're going to take the penalty.
When things go bad, they really go bad. In fact, sometimes they're starting to look putrid on that side. Yeah, they're feeling pretty good about it, especially the defensive coaches. Floyd Peters on the left, Paul Wiggin on the right. Those guys are 2 of the best in the game, and I think that, you know, when you think of defense in this league and defensive coordinators, you have to think of Floyd Peters. Someday they're going to think of him as the head coach of this league.
I think that's entered a lot of people's minds already. The kick is not as good as the other one. Lewis signals fair catch, makes it difficult. And they get the ball out at the 34. 30-yard punt. So 56 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter. It's 18-7 Minnesota. Join us next Saturday at 2:30 Eastern Time for college football action. See the Miami Hurricanes at the Pitt Panthers. Both teams need a win to stay in the New Year's Day bowl picture. Panthers 5-1-1. Miami Hurricanes 7-1. Next Saturday here on CBS. First down Vikings at their own 37-yard line, only 34-yard line. Make that. Walker goes in motion. Oh, deflected intercepted by the Rams. Mel Owen. Mike Wilshire got the hand up, batted it in the air, and it's caught by Owen.
That may be the play that the Rams need to wake him up. Watch Wilshire coming from the right side. He tips the play. There's Mel Owens. He just catches it. But Wilshire's the guy who made that play. They didn't block him. He was coming from the right side. Wade Wilson went to throw it out there. He tipped it. And now the Rams have good field position. And if they're going to do it, now's the time to start doing it.
They're at the Vikings 30. Overhand in motion. Give is to Bell. He is hit by Henry Thomas. Got 1 yard. And that's it.
That's the way you want your nose tackle to play. When the ball starts outside, you keep leverage on it so that you have the cutback. You don't get even with it or overrun it. And Henry Thomas did that perfectly. Kept position and leverage on the cutback.
2nd and 9. They might get one more play off before the end of the quarter. Everett chased by Millard. Down in the arm of Dolman. That's the first time he's been sacked.
And that was Keith Millard's pad. He broke right up the middle. They wanted to double team him, but they don't get him. He's here. Boom, he hits that crack. Everett feels him, sees him, and has to get out of the pocket. But watch him hit that thing. He just split the guard in the center by turning sideways, put the pressure on him, and there was Dolman waiting for him. But that's why Millard is so tough, because when he breaks free, he's right in your face.
That's the end of the third quarter. With the score, the Vikings 18, the Rams 7. We now pause for a word from your local station. At the Metrodome in Minneapolis, at Summerall with John Madden. It's the Vikings 18, the Rams 7.
You know, in that last one, Jim Everett didn't have a chance. This is what you call a jailbreak. Millard starts out the break, and look at those purple jerseys surround him. There was nowhere he could go.
3rd and 24. Millard had Everett again. He just barely managed to escape through the pass to Greg Bell, incomplete. And they'll have to punt.
This is the type of game that the Vikings want. You know, when they can get you in these situations, you can't run, you have to pass, they can pass rush, and there's no one better than these guys when you have to throw, and the 4 of these guys are coming at you.
They had Millard lined up as a defensive end that time on the outside. Dolman on the inside, and they both broke free. High Bearcat signal.
Guy made him. That's what defense is all about, coming in and doing that. Your offense goes in, they have the turnover, the Rams are going to get life. You say this is where, now you go in there, and if you're a defensive player, a defensive coach, you got to come and take the life out of them. That's what this defense did.
So the Vikings take over. Top their own 18-yard line. Outside the 20, picked up 4. Stopped by Stams and Wilshire.
Now the Vikings, the inside of that Viking offensive line, Loudermilk, McDaniel, and Kalis, are starting to get a push in there now. They're starting to control this thing. They got the feeling, you know, that their defense is playing. These guys, this McDaniel here, 64 in his 2nd year, he's going to be one of the best guards in this league.
2nd and 6. By Newman, picked up 4, but a penalty marker down.
What Walker did, he had the ball in the left hand, and he threw that forearm with the right. I had a guy once, Hewitt Dixon, that did that, and they gave him a 15-yard penalty for unnecessary roughness.
And he had the ball?
He had the ball.
64 offense. Holding. 10-yard penalty. Replay the second down.
I didn't know that that was Randall McDaniel, who we were just talking about. He's right here. Now, I thought he had pretty good position. He's coming out to hook his man. See him reach out here? And he's going to hook as well. He hooked him with a hand. That's what he caught him. I was watching that block, and I said, geez, he reached and hooked him. But I didn't know that he hooked him with his left hand.
And tossed him to the ground.
I thought from here it looked like a good block.
Wilson with pressure. Looking for Carter. He went inside. Wilson threw outside. Clifford Hicks was the Ram defender.
Wade Wilson knows that he's going to come out here and go to Carter. He gets a little pressure on this one straight up the middle. He had to throw it when he didn't want to. He didn't have anything there anyway.
Kevin Green looped inside and came clear.
Kevin Green was telling us there were only 3 backs that he really thought were superstars, and that was Bo Jackson, Eric Dickerson, and the guys playing against today, Herschel Walker.
Wilson with time this time to Anderson. Flag on the play. Again, 8-yard gain. Face mask, I think, if I read the lips correctly.
Personal foul, 15-yard face mask penalty.
Boy, those penalties have hurt the Rams.
That's the second 15-yard face mask penalty. I'll tell you, John Robinson said he's had enough of this penalty stuff. They aren't playing very well, the Rams aren't, but they sure haven't had many good breaks with the penalties.
That official standing over there next to Robinson is the one who made the call. Alvin Wright of the Rams shaken up on that last play. In any case, it's a first down at the 35 now for the Vikings. 13.5 minutes left to play. Wilson. To midfield.
You know what Herschel Walker does there, Pat? He's a little like a boxer in that, that rope-a-dope when the guys get their hands up and they let him hit him. Herschel Walker will give you something to hit, but he always keeps his feet going. And the things he gives you to hit are just pads. You watch him, the way he gets bent, the only thing you can hit are his pads. And his feet are going, so you usually bounce off him.
He picks up a first down on that pass completion from Wilson. Right at midfield.
This could be the first instant replay we've had today. I don't know why we'd have an instant replay on that one.
What about?
After review by instant replay, the call stands.
What was the call?
Well, we'll see it. The only thing that they can talk about is did he catch the ball? I don't think there's any reason for a replay on this. He catches the ball. He runs with the ball. They tackle him. There's no fumble. There's nothing to review there.
Timeout Rams.
Los Angeles timeout. Los Angeles first charge timeout.
So that'll leave them with 2 down the stretch. We have 12 minutes and 49 seconds left to play. Vikings lead it 18-7.
This NFL game summary is sponsored by Levi's 506 jeans. Cut a little fuller in the thigh for expert comfort.
To summarize the game, it's been the Viking defense and Rich Karlis 6 field goals for all the points. They lead 18-7. Henry Allard only has 1 catch for the Rams, but look at the contributions by Carter and Walker.
Well, that's the thing, that if the Minnesota offense is going to be successful, that's what they have to do. I mean, Anthony Carter is a great player. He's a game breaker. You have to get the ball to him. And, of course, when you give half the franchise for Herschel Walker, you better get the ball to him.
They had a strong franchise. They got some other players as well. Walker for a yard. Stopped by Hawkins. Anderson with ice on his foot.
Hey, that'll be tough for the Vikings because they use two fullbacks, Anderson and Finney. Alan Rice, their other fullback, is already out. And they alternate fullbacks every play, Finney and Rice, sending in the plays from Bob Schnelker.
2nd and 9. Now they'll have to find another way to get the plays in. Handoff was Finney. Nothing there. Doug Reed stopped him. Loss of a couple. Anderson, you just saw on the Viking bench, has a strained arch.
And, of course, Rice is already inactive for this game, so that leaves them one fullback, Finney, one other back, in addition to Herschel Walker, coaches DJ Dozier.
3rd and 11. Wilson out of the pocket. Throws it to the ground. Flag on the play. To avoid a loss, you can't do that.
Yeah, you can throw the ball into the ground to stop the clock, but you can't throw the ball into the ground to avoid the loss. Now, I think what Wade Wilson is saying, yeah, but I wasn't in the pocket. I was running outside, so therefore I can't. I don't think any time that you throw the ball,
10-yard penalty, loss it down.
Anytime you throw the ball away to avoid a sack, it's going to be intentional grounding. Unless he says he was trying to skip it to him. That looked like something you do in a game, you know, like over the line or something. You said he had a guy to throw to. Yeah, you did have a guy to throw to, but you skipped it to him. You got to throw it all the way to him on a fly.
Errol Henley back deep for the Rams. Only the second punt today for the Vikings' Bucky Scribner. He's been busy holding for field goals. A good kick. Chases Henley back to the 15. Tripped up at the 30. The Rams will get it back with 11 minutes and 16 seconds left to play in the game. 46-yard punt by Scribner. 18-7 Minnesota.
The 7th-ranked Hurricanes of Miami storm into Pittsburgh to take on the Panthers for C.D. Towers and Air Force Battle BYU next Saturday on CBS Sports.
11:16 left to play. Ram first down at their own 31. Delpino. Stopped by Studwell, a pickup of 8.
Yeah, there we see Vince Newsom on the sideline, Pat. Remember, he was kneed earlier in the game by Herschel Walker. They took him in the locker room, took x-rays of his shoulder and neck area. They were negative, but they say he's not going to return.
2nd down and 2. Everett back to throw it. Space again. Ramon Johnson made the reception. A gain of 4, stopped by Browner. First down.
The thing about Browner, you know, we talked about his big hands and the way he runs through things. When he hits them, they just stop. That's the end of the play. You know, it's not like, well, they're hit and they gain a yard or 2 or 3 or 4. They just hit and boom, down right there.
Everett. Ramon Johnson dropped it. Again, tremendous pressure pressure on Everett.
Well, you know, you would say, why doesn't he get the ball to Henry Ellard? Why doesn't he get the ball to Flipper Anderson? And to be honest, he really hasn't had the time. I mean, he's throwing all these short things. He's featuring today, they're featuring their tight end, Damone Johnson, but I don't know that he has time to get the ball to some of those other guys. Look, Flipper Johnson is just running a clear out there. He wasn't even looking. So you'd like to say that you have to get it to him, but you can't make a living just throwing balls like this.
You can stay alive, but you can't make a living. No guy. And a flag on the play again. Greg Bell was the ball carrier.
You see Al Noga come around that corner on that play. Another penalty against the Rams.
Another holding. This
guy has been the most improved player on this Viking team. I think he's a second-year guy. Biggest surprise.
10-yard penalty. Replay the second down.
The biggest surprise that the Vikings have had. Holding was against Duval Love, the right guard of the Rams.
Since the first quarter, that's been the Ram offensive story. And they've been penalized more yards than they've gained.
Yeah, well, they came in wanting to run. They started out running, and then the Vikings have shut that down. And between Viking defensive penalties, they can't get anything going.
Everett got it to Holohan, but again, he was throwing backing up. Gain of 7.
You know, and this is a good offensive line, you know, with Pankey and Newberry, Smith, Love, Jackie Slater. But it seems like all offensive lines in the NFL, for some reason right now, are in slumps. I mean, there's really not a dominant offensive line in the league now.
There really isn't. You're talking about groups like the Redskins, these two, Bears. Down with the ball. His first catch of the day.
Well, this is the guy that they want to get. If you're going to go deep, you have to get it to Flipper Anderson. Flipper Anderson is one of the fastest guys in the league. In fact, Jim Everett was telling us that he thinks that in a football uniform, he is as fast or faster than Ron Brown. I'll tell you, that was a heck of a play by Anderson there. He just took the ball away.
And Darrell Smith, the defensive back, hurt himself and had to leave.
Well, Darrell Smith was right there. In fact, it looked like Smith had the ball for a second, and Willie Anderson took it away from him.
8 minutes left to play. Everett gets it out to Damone Johnson again. Only a couple of yards. 3 make it.
Again, I think this was a plan that they had. They were going to run and they were going to throw to Damone Johnson, but I think there was no one open down there. That time, the line had good pass protection. Everett was looking downfield, couldn't find anything, and he came off to a short guy.
Ellard and Anderson split to the left, 2nd and 7.
Harry Burns getting in the action. The first 3 quarters have been all John Robinson yelling at the officials, and now here in the 4th quarter, Jerry's getting a word or two in on these guys.
I guess they're reviewing that catch by Damone Johnson.
After a review this and replay, the call stands. 2nd down.
It was only like a 2-yard. It was only a 2-yard pass anyway, and I don't know what they would question. I don't know what. Maybe they just want to see if their equipment's working.
2nd and 7. Flag. Everett gives to Bell. Bell down to about the 10. Stopped again by Joey Browner.
I'm surprised that the Rams haven't done more of that, Pat, that hard count, because as good as the Viking defense is, they are very, very jumpy.
Browner still down, holding his head.
Looked like something got in his face mask. There's not a lot of room there between that top bar and the top of the head. But it looks like something or someone got through to Joey Browner's eyes.
Darrell Smith, the defensive back for Minnesota, pulled a hamstring on that catch by Anderson, and he won't be back.
You see what just happened to Joey Browner there, Pat? I think is the reason we're seeing more and more shields in this league. Just watch, there's 47 there. Look, it's right there, and it's going to come in at the end. It has to be right there. It was his own man there. That was Mike Merriweather that came in. It looked like hit Joey Browner right in the eyes.
First down, Rams. Fullington has replaced Browner. Just outside the Minnesota 10. Clock running with 7:40 left to play. 18-7, Vikings lead. Everett. The direction of Anderson.
And Tom Newberry, the left guard of the Rams, really has his hands full with Millard. Millard stopped taking that inside gap, I think, Pat, because he was getting double. So what he does now is he's just going right outside of 66 Newberry. See him there? Takes that outside shoulder, gets the inside hand in, and then gets the hand up in Everett's face.
When he gets that arm under your arm, he's gone.
Yeah, he gets that, and that's a specialist, and he uses the other one to get into the quarterback.
Second down. Everett. Out of bounds at the 6. 5-yard scramble.
And again, now Millard takes the inside again. You see him gets by Newberry. There's Smith waiting for him. Smith knocks him that side, but Everett felt it. That was the play. Millard's pressure straight up the middle was what flushed Jim Everett to the outside.
3rd and 5 at the 6. Browner's back for the Vikings. Delpino, the man in motion. Batted away. No flag. Intended for Holohan. Carl Lee all over it.
On most third down plays, the Rams go to Pete Holohan. I think the scouting report is out. Although Carl Lee is one of the best defensive backs in the league. One of the best cover guys. That is pass defense, where you can be behind a guy, reach over, and knock the ball out without touching it. That's art.
That's an athlete who is an artist.
4th down.
They can still make a first down without scoring. Touchdown they can make too. With Henry Ellard wide open in the end zone from 6 yards out. There's still time.
Well, and the Rams did 2 things on that drive. They got the ball to Flipper Anderson on a deep one. That got him down there. And then they got the ball to Henry Ellard. And they had good pass protection. You see the difference? That's a big part of it. That's where I believe it all started. Right there, they sealed the middle off. Now Everett had time, and he could find Ellard in the end zone.
Rams' extra point is good. And so that tightens things up a little bit. The Vikings still lead by 4, 18-14, with 7 minutes and 20 seconds left to play. Hit Ellard with a 6-yard touchdown pass, but this was the key play. Everett with protection gets the ball to Flipper Anderson. It was 3rd and 13 at that time. They got 39 yards. Dozier and Walker back deep. Lansford's kick. Dozier dropped it at the 2. And the Rams are down in a hurry. Lift him up. Delpino was down to trip him up inside the 20 today. The Rams have had 2 possessions. They've got 2 touchdowns for 14 points. The Vikings had 6 possessions, and they've gotten 6 field goals by Carlos for 18 points.
Well, in the first part of the game, the Vikings had every opportunity, from field position to penalties to everything, and now things look like they're turning on the Rams side.
7:11 left to play. Pitches back wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage, and the penalty marker down. Loss of 3. Wilshire was the first Ram there.
It looks like the Vikings had all those shots. You didn't get it. Then the Rams just hang in there. They get a touchdown, and then they get a good kickoff coverage. They get them backed up. Now the whole tide of this game could change right here.
Novoselsky has replaced Hassan Jones. Here's their backup tight end, who's the blocker.
That means that the Vikings are going to try and run it out of here.
Walker smacked down again for no gain, this time by Kevin Green.
Kevin Green was outside. He read that thing all the way. Watch Kevin Green. He's up here. He comes here. No one blocks him at all. He's the outside guy. Watch right down there. He comes around the corner. Maybe the guard was supposed to kick him out, but no one touched 91.
Brings up 3rd and 13. Carter split wide to the left.
Watch the run! Watch the run!
Wilson out of the end zone. Dumps it to Walker. Short of the first down. Frank Stams made the stop. 9-yard gain, but the Vikings will have to punt.
Now the thing is, that wasn't a big pass, and it was short of the first down, but it does give the Vikings room so that their punter can get back 15 yards.
Darrell Henley back deep for the Rams will start at about midfield. Scribner 5 yards deep in that end zone. Henry is at the Viking 39-yard line. Summarizing the score in first quarter. Carlos 20-yard field goal. 1-yard touchdown run by Bell. Carlos a 24-yarder, made it 7-6. Carlos a 22-yarder, made it 9-7. Carlos a 25-yarder, 12-7. Carlos a 36-yarder, finally to make it 18-7. 6 field goals. And the 1 touchdown by the Rams. Pass from Everett to Bell. Del Pino to about the 35. Stopped by Studwell. 5 minutes, 2 seconds left to play.
I think this was the idea that John Robinson had, was to run and run and run, not put all the pressure on Jim Everett, let him work himself out of a slump, get in the fourth quarter, wear him down, and win the game there. The way it looked like in the process of doing that the game was getting out of hand. But just 1 touchdown put him right back there.
2nd and 6. Anderson in motion. Everett on a draw play to Del Pino. About a yard short of a first down. A pickup of 4 or 5. Stopped by Studwell. 4:22 left to play.
Yeah, if you take 1 play, there's probably averaged more yards than any against this Viking defense. It's that play right there, the draw play. Because again, they're susceptible to that type of thing. Watch the Viking defensive line. Every play is going to be a pass rush. You see them? They get up there, then they will run right by a draw.
Clark has replaced Henry Thomas in the Viking defense. Clock continues to run. Big down. Buford McGee and Greg Bell behind Everett. Bell hit behind the line of scrimmage. Chris Dolman from the backside and a loss of 3.
That's a dangerous thing. If you're going to pull your guard and your tackle, you have to block back on Dolman. Watch what happens when they pull. You see the tackle pull, and they don't block back. Watch 56. He is too quick. He is one of those guys, Chris Dolman, that when you run away from him, you still have to block him.
He's there before Bell can even get close to the line of scrimmage. Big 4th down and 5. The ball's at the Viking 34. Delpino goes in motion. Pass is caught and hung on to by Buford McGee. And did he take a hit? Travis Curtis Robinson out on the field. But Buford McGee, who's a tough guy.
Hey, Travis Curtis reads that thing all the way. This is a big pass on a 4th down. Watch Curtis. He is just zeroed in on McGee all the way. He just launches himself right underneath his chin. Yeah, they talk about concentration of a receiver. Buford McGee not only had that, but Buford McGee is one tough guy.
3rd catch of the day, none tougher than that one.
Hey, it's tough not to sneak a peek when a guy is launching himself at you.
You know he's coming. Bell and Delpino. Handoff, fake to Bell. Out to Delpino. A flag on the play. It's going to be called, I'm sure, against Ellard, who was trying to block for Delpino. He was inside the 5.
Sure, that's what it was. Henry Ellard was right down there in front of him. For Henry Ellard, he's not a physical guy anyway. I mean, these Ram receivers are not very big guys. 175 pounds or so. Usually they don't even try and block.
Number 80. 10 yards from the spot of the foul, and replay the down.
That's Henry Ellard. I'm talking about most wide receivers. On a running play or a pass, they just run their guy off. You see, this is a pass. Delpino's catching it. Now he turns into a blocker. That's not bad there. Oh, no. I don't know how you can call a guy like, oh, that's terrible.
Neither does John Robinson.
He didn't hurt anything. He's telling them, look at that picture up there. And I'll tell you, he's right. He's right. I mean, that's a tough thing. But, I mean, Ellard doesn't do anything. That is a phantom call. I don't care.
1st and 5. The penalty from the spot of the foul. Everett. The Vikings, Joey Browner comes up with the interception. Off the hands of McGee.
Got a big break on that penalty, then they get a big play from Joey Browner here. And Ellard gets rid of the ball. The ball is tipped. Joey Browner goes up and takes it away. See, that was Buford McGee, who had just made the great catch on the 4th down. This one, the ball is tipped off his hands, right through his hand.
2:14 left to play. Rams use one timeout. Herschel Walker. Stopped finally by Anthony Newman. A struggling run of 11 yards. And we'll get the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes remaining. And it's the Vikings 18, the Rams 14. The Metrodome, 18-14 Minnesota. They just got a 1st down.
Hey, this is a play before the interception. They called this on Henry Ellard. I have no idea what they're calling here. He's blocking. He does nothing. Look at the official throw a flag there for holding. The Rams, instead of being on the 4-yard line, get the penalty and then come back and throw the interception. I mean, those are the worst kind. You know, the kind that they don't see, that's okay. But when they say that they saw something that isn't there, that's wrong.
Over 100 yards in penalties for the Rams, who used a timeout after a 1-yard gain by Walker.
Hey, Joey Browner's had a big game. The Rams wanted to run, and he had a big day stopping the run, and then came up with that interception down there. He was the same guy, remember, in the playoff game that intercepted 2 Everett passes early.
Tonight on CBS begins with 60 minutes. 47 sailors died in a gun explosion on the battleship Iowa. Did a gunner's mate aboard the Iowa kill them? Following 60 minutes are Murder, She Wrote, and the CBS Sunday movie Taken Away. That's all tonight on CBS.
Hey, John Robinson, I think is still talking about that play. He's talking about that one, and what he said too, he's talking about those 2 face mask penalties they've had. Hey, it's been a long day on the sideline with John Robinson and the officials.
2nd down and 9. Pitches back to Walker. He is wrapped up by Mike Peel. A loss of 2. And the Rams take another timeout. That's their last one.
See what they'll do is they're going to try with a 3rd down, hold them on this down, and then they get another timeout at the change of possession as automatic timeout. A tough decision here for the Vikings, because if they pass and it's incomplete, then that'll stop the clock, which will be the advantage to the Rams. If they run, then they got a long way to go to get the 1st down.
I don't think there's any way they put it in the air.
Probably not, because of the fact that the Rams are out of timeouts.
Minute 48.
One thing, though, if they can stop him here and have less than 10 yards to go on 4th down, then the Rams could go on an all-out punt block.
They have tried a couple of times. Minute 48. 3rd down. And Wilson is going to put it in the air. That's batted away. Almost an interception. Michael Stewart had a chance.
Hey, I am surprised that they did that, because now that stops the clock. But then you're always worried about this. It would have been a heck of an interception, though, because he got one hand on it. Had he been able to catch that, that could have won the game there. I tell you, Stewart really got up in the air on that thing. Look at how far he's off the ground. I mean, you could put a couple bookcases under his feet.
They only used 4 seconds. Darrell Henley back deep for the Rams. Bucky Scribner.
The Rams will come on a block.
But Scribner still has the ball. He gets it upfield complete. And that's the 1st down, Minnesota. I'm sure there must have been somebody downfield, but I don't see any flag. Novoselsky made the reception. Clifford Hicks blocked the punt. They got to talk this one over.
I'll tell you, this one's going to take a while. Well, Robinson can't go over there. Yeah, they talked him into that one. As you said, there was no flag on the play. They just throw a flag out now. As you say, there has to be someone downfield. Right now, you see they're downfield. The 2 end guys can go. Of course, so it would be the inside guys.
Ineligible lineman number 60 downfield illegally on the forward pass. 10 yards will repeat 4th down.
Like, tell you what, you get what you want. You block the punt. Talk about things going bad. I mean, you got to give the Vikings credit.
John Robinson saying it's their ball because they blocked the kick, and the illegal man was downfield after that.
I think he's right. It was on 4th down when they blocked him.
This is really some way to end the game, although it was all part of one play. Lucky Scribner's gone from a low to a high to having to punt again. Now the Vikings are taking a timeout. Confusion reigns in the Metrodome.
Here's the whole play again, John. You described it.
Well, the thing is, they're going to get the punt block right there. Now Scribner picks it up. And now he's going out there. Now what they're saying at that point when he threw the ball, that there were linemen downfield. In fact, you can see the lineman was right there even with the guy who caught the ball. But they didn't throw a penalty flag. Then they realized there had to be someone downfield, so they threw it after the play.
Do they have to take the penalty? I guess they do. They did make a first down.
Yeah, so to put him back there, then they had to, and it was all one play. I'll tell you, there's going to be one drained football coach.
Oh, boy, he already is. He got a good one out of there. Henley. At midfield. 50-yard kick, a good one by Scribner. 10-yard return by Henley. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Minnesota Vikings and the National Football League is prohibited. You talk about living with a four-leaf clover. Anderson wide left. Cox and Ellard to this side. Minute 17 seconds. Ellard. Semi-rollout. Caught by Ellard at the 35. McMillan on the stop, but a super catch by Ellard.
Of course, the Rams have no timeouts. A field goal will do them no good. They're down 4. They need a touchdown.
Ellard at the 2. Stopped by Browner. They got to hurry. Clock down to 40. 34-yard pickup.
They ought to just pick the ball up and throw it down and stop the clock.
The Vikings aren't back yet. They have stopped the clock.
I think as much as the Vikings didn't want to stop the clock, they wanted to regroup, so they took a timeout. Tell you, this is some game. I mean, the whole, for 3.5 quarters, everything looked like it was going the Vikings' way. And then, boom. Tell you, let's just watch Henry Ellard here. Now, what's happening here is the Vikings are playing a soft zone. We can stop it right there. We can see they're zoning here. Ellard comes right through, and he's here, and he's running between the zone. He's behind these guys and in front of this group, and this is the seam that they're going to hit him in. Now watch him, and Everett makes a perfect throw right in front of Joey Browner.
And once again, Joey Browner saves a touchdown.
You know, when you're going to play zone and you're in that area, you can't let the guys come off the line of scrimmage free. You have to bump the Henry Ellard. You can't let him run through your zone.
First and goal from the 1.5. McGee and Bell are the 2 running backs. 32 seconds left to play. Back to Bell. Touchdown Rams.
The Vikings look like they're in shock. They can't believe it. John Robinson looked like he said, I don't think I could go through it again.
The noisy stadium is quiet.
But if you stay with something long enough, sometimes you can come out on this end of it. Greg Bell stretches the defense out, makes a cutback.
Extra point's good by Lansford. 28 seconds left on the clock. The Vikings do have a timeout left. Took the Rams just 3 plays and 49 seconds to get it in.
Vikings had those opportunities where they got down inside the 20. They couldn't come out with a touchdown, had to settle for the field goals. And now they're in a position that they need to score.
The coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS, Charles H. Milton III. This wonderful game produced by Robert D. Stenner, directed by Sandy Grossman. And the executive producer of CBS Sports is Ted Shaker. One timeout left for Minnesota and 28 seconds left on the game clock. What a finish.
Well, the Vikings still have a couple things there we know of. One, they got Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker's going to be back there in the kickoff return. And then I think the other thing they got to do is just throw one up somehow to Anthony Carter.
A field goal would tie if they can get it down there.
And Carlos has had plenty of experience today in field goals in this place.
6 for 6. Lansford will kick it off. Green Bay has gone ahead of the Bears. It'll be delightful news to Viking fans.
Sure, the Vikings fans are worried more right now about the Vikings than Bears.
Swift kick goes out of bounds. And they'll get it at the 35.
Well, the Rams probably figured that was better than letting Herschel Walker have a shot at it.
Every time he's touched it, he's done better than the 35.
Minnesota has a long way to go. This season they haven't thrown a pass, had a pass over 40 yards. But with one timeout left, they only need about 2 or 3 completions of medium-range passes. They don't have to go for a bomb or a Hail Mary here.
They got them all to the left side. They're going for it. Hassan Jones almost came down with it. Looked for a moment like he had it. He's done that before.
I think with one timeout that they have plenty of time. I was surprised that they did this because I don't think they need it now. Although the way Hassan Jones goes up, he gets up over everyone, had the ball, and it was knocked out at the top.
Something's got to be wrong with Anthony Carter. He's not in the game.
Yeah, that would be sure that there is something wrong with him. You know, he's had some problems this year. He had a hamstring. They saw it earlier that looked like they were trying to stretch his hamstring and or groin.
They're going deep again, and Hassan Jones is again in the middle of it. He might have come down with it. "43 yards.
The first one, they said, let's come right back. We'll do it the same way. Hassan Jones probably went in the huddle and said, look, I can get up there, out-jump those guys, and I'll hold on to the next one. That one looked like a replay of the play before that. He's right in the middle. There are 3 or 4 guys around him. It's just that Hassan Jones can jump higher than the Rams can.
He almost had the first one. There's Carter out to congratulate him. Carlos will try to tie it. And at the same time, tie the NFL record held by Jim Bakken with his 7th field goal of the day. Yes, sir. From 40 yards. Still 8 seconds left. All the points by number 13.
out there. He was down on the ground.
He may not make it 2 more years.
I know it. You talk about emotions that coaches have gone through. I think we have seen the full spectrum from both of these coaches today.
Is that why you stay in the business, or is that why you got out of the business?
That's why I got out of it. If there's any emotion, I never had a feeling that I ever wanted to go back. If I had any emotion, sometimes I feel sorry for what these guys go through.
Oh, you have to. For Robinson and for Burns. And now Robinson again. We're told that fans that were leaving a few minutes ago are now running back to their seats.
Well, I think they are, because there's more noise. I can hear them. Look at those. That'll leave them out. That'll lock the doors if you're going to leave early. What do they call them? Fair weather fans. You got to believe.
Harlow's kickoff is a squibber. Handled by one of the up linemen. Backup linebacker.
Jerry Burns looked like he just came out of a dryer.
It's Frank Stams who brought the kickoff back. Of course, after 2 seconds to go, there'll be a coin toss. There'll be a 3-minute break, and we'll start another game in sudden death.
Oh, you know, the Rams still have one more Hail Mary. They're probably thinking if the Vikings can do it, we can take one shot of it, although they're not going to take it. They're lined up in the kneel-down formation.
Overtime coming. They'll have a coin toss. The score is 21-21. Those are the overtime rules. The coin toss, a 3-minute break, 2 timeouts per team, 1 15-minute period. The first score wins it.
You know, here's an interesting thing. The team receiving the overtime kickoff has won 51% of the time. So a lot of people say whoever wins the flip wins.
Los Angeles will receive at this end.
But that's not necessarily true, because it's come out about half and half.
Just 51%. The Rams get the 1%. They won the toss. So, one of your more exciting fourth quarters that you'll ever see. And we head to overtime.
For a parade up there.
It's been a long time since they've had a parade. Kickoff is going to go to Robert Del Pino. Hit it about the 20-yard line. 17-yard return. Everett had a very slow start, but he warmed things up in the fourth quarter.
I think the same thing now. They probably want to go back to the way they started the game, get control of it, get the running game going, get some of that going, get a little field position before they take their shots to Anderson or Ellis.
First down, Rams at their own 19. Greg Bell and Del Pino are the two runners. Hand off to Del Pino. Picked up 4. Millard on the stop. Miami beat Indianapolis. That's a final.
Again, the thing is, when you got pass rushers like that, the place to run is straight at them, and that's what they're trying to do. Although it didn't work, Millard just jumped on Del Pino. But you try and split pass rushers, not run right and left, but run straight up the middle at them.
2nd and 6. Kansas City beat Seattle, another surprise. Everett back to throw it. Blitz coming. Got his tight end, Damone Johnson. About a yard shy of a first down, chased by Ray Berry. It'll bring up 3rd and 1.
Good. I think if Damone Johnson doesn't watch it here, he's going to have a career-high pass catching today. That was part of their game plan, to run and to throw more with that short pass to Damone Johnson. We're always putting Pete Holohan in and throwing to him before.
3rd and a yard at the 28. We're in overtime. The Metrodome. 21-21. Pitch is back to Pell, and he doesn't get the first down. Studwell and a host of others throwing for a yard loss. And the Rams will have to put it up.
Scott Studwell's played a heck of a game today, Pat, against the run. Amazing guy, 13-year veteran. He's all over the field. He's right here. He's back there. He feels that run. He hits that thing up, gets his shoulder square, meets a ball carrier before he gets the line of scrimmage.
Hatcher back to punt to Leo Lewis. The Vikings block it. They're going to win in overtime. Mike Merriweather. Hold it. No flag. Safety. If they recovered it in the end zone, it's a touchdown. They're saying 23-21, so it is a safety.
Number 57, Mike Merriweather. Watch him. He gets the block. He knocks it into the end zone. He's going to recover it. As you said, if he has control in the end zone, it's a touchdown. If not, it's a safety. It was a safety, and the Vikings win by 2.
What a finish. What a finish.
This game should end this way. It had everything else. Had passing, running, penalties, block kicks. Mike Merriweather making the biggest play in overtime.
It's the first time since 1974 that a game has been decided in overtime by a safety.
So now that means the Vikings are in first place in the Central Division all by themselves, and the Rams have now lost 4 in a row.
And the Bears and the Packers are tied for second. What a finish. What a game he played. The final score is 23-21 Minnesota. Stay tuned for the